Relationships are built on actions, not words. No matter which species you belong to, kindness can make connections in the most unexpected places. In a beautiful natural forest, a married couple is enjoying the calming weather. Suddenly, the girl starts to feel labor pain. His husband gets up hurriedly and they rush to the hospital. They aren't the only ones having a baby. Deep inside the bushes, a ladybird couple is continuing their generation too. It's gifted with a triplet. The baby insects crawl out to meet their parents who teach them how to fly. Two of them copy perfectly, but the third one, named Cox, is a bit clumsy. A bee flying nearby makes fun of the clumsy ladybird. The poor little insect ignores the rude treatment and follows his parents, but the naughty bee keeps making fun of him. Finally, Cox's patience runs out and he follows the bee to take his revenge. But that little bee has scary giant parents. The poor Cox runs away in fear, but the bees keep following him. In a rush, Cox hits a stone and falls into a deep hole. He lies there unconscious, so the bees assume he died and go away. One of Cox's wings broke in the incident and he's unable to fly. He can't stay in the hole as it's already accumulated by another species. Cox crawls out to find shelter from the heavy rain. He stops under a mushroom, but the snails make him go away. Finally, Cox finds a tiffin and spends the night there. The next morning when he wakes up, he realizes that the tiffin is full of sugar cubes. When he peeks out, he sees numerous bugs stealing food from the abandoned picnic spot. Cox is most impressed by the black ants, who are working in a very disciplined way. They are guided by their leader, who instructs them how to pick up food so they can take it back to their shelter. The ants' leader investigates the tiffin and feels delighted to find such a huge amount of sugar. He instructs all of his workers to rush there immediately and pick up the tiffin. Cox is carried by them too, along with the sugar cubes. They pass over several obstacles, but then suddenly stagger on a cliff. The tiffin falls down and the ants rush to pick up the sugar cubes. They also notice Cox, who popped out of the tiffin. Before they can inquire about him, a creepy lizard arrives there. The ants hide behind the sugar cubes while the lizard is crawling around in search of food. Cox uses his intelligence and sneaks inside the tiffin. His faint voice echoes from the tiffin walls and becomes really loud. The lizard gets scared and runs far away. The life of the black ants has been saved by the little ladybird. The ants' leader thanks Cox for his act of kindness and invites him to join their group. Together, they continue their journey toward the ants' colony. It's still really far away, but the ants' leader uses his antenna to signal his colony about his arrival. While they walk among the bushes, Cox hears a weird rustling. It's the black ants' worst enemy, the red ants. They block the way of black ants and ask about what's inside the tiffin. The black ants' leader gives a sugar cube to the red ants and walks away. However, the greedy red ants want more, so they continue going after the tiffin. Cox notices them and informs the leader immediately. The black ants start running faster and faster to leave behind their enemy. They ultimately reach the edge of a cliff, and there's no other way beside jumping down. The tiffin starts tripping down the hill along with ants and Cox. They end up falling in the river, but the tiffin keeps them safe from drowning. Meanwhile, the red ants get inside an old tin can and roll down to the river. Afterward, they start pushing and hitting the sugar tiffin, which causes the poor Cox to drown in the river. Underwater, he encounters a deadly piranha. Cox keeps dodging the piranha until the black ants come to rescue him. They pull him back up, and together they proceed towards the waterfall. The black ants hide inside the tiffin and land down safely, but the piranha hits his head on a stone and the red ants get brutally drowned in water. Unfortunately, they are too stubborn to die and revive again. Unknown to the survival of their enemy, the black ants continue their journey. The tiffin is completely destroyed, so the ants carry the sugar cubes on their heads. While moving forward, Cox notices another ladybird nearby. He gets really excited and tries to reach her. Unfortunately, Cox cannot fly with a single wing. He gives up and keeps following the ants. After a while, the red ants reach there too. The black ants boost their speed and reach the road. The red ants get scared of the vehicles and run away while the black ants cross safely. They finally reach their territory and invite Cox to have a tour. Every ant there is busy picking up the food and taking it to the castle. The queen is resting there and lays eggs every minute. The ant leader presents the sugar cube and the queen gets really delighted. She lays numerous eggs in just a second by eating the sugar cube. Meanwhile, the red ant also gets back to his territory and informs his queen about the sugar cubes. The red queen gets furious and addresses all the ants. In the next moment, they grab their weapons, and armies of red ants march toward their enemy's territory. However, the black ants are totally clueless about what's coming their way. They are peacefully sleeping along with Cox. He dreams of flying with his family around the field and munching on the berries. Everything seems so beautiful and perfect. As soon as Cox wakes up, he gets out of the castle and tries to fly again. His wing is not fully recovered yet, and he may need to wait longer to unite with his family. The next day, the red ants attack out of nowhere. They have brought stones, catapults, pesticides, utensils, and everything that can be used as a weapon. The black ants get ready to defend their castle and attack back with cotton swabs and expired medicines. Their leader rushes to inform the queen, and she orders them to use their most powerful weapons. The leader runs to the storage room and asks the caretaker to bring the matchbox and fireworks rockets. Meanwhile, the red ants are trying to knock down the castle entrance. They want to reach the queen and steal all the sugar cubes. The red ants set up the rockets and the leader opens the matchbox. Unfortunately, there's only one matchstick in it. The leader reads the instructions and lights the matchstick. Afterward, he uses it to launch the rocket. It shoots into the sky and falls down on the red ants. A lot of them die in the incident, but they don't move back yet. The black ants get really worried as they are unable to launch the remaining rockets. Cox understands the whole situation, and it reminds him of the matchbox he saw at the picnic spot. He volunteers to bring the matchbox all by himself. The ants' leader orders them to build an airplane using a dollar bill. Cox rides on the plane and dodges the red ants to reach the other side. His wings have almost recovered and he can fly again. The black ants' last hope is Cox, and he must save them at any cost. He flies through the field and glides over the river. He also munches on the berries to get more energy. The sugars help his wings to recover completely, and he celebrates his achievement. After traveling several miles, he finally reaches the picnic spot. The matchbox is lying there, but it's too heavy for Cox to carry it alone. He fails after trying multiple times, but then he notices a spider nearby. She walks forward and picks up the matchbox effortlessly. Cox keeps following her, looking for a chance to get back the matchbox. The night is setting in, and the red ants have almost broken into the castle. All the black ants gather around the queen and pray for Cox's return. Meanwhile, Cox is still following the spider. After passing through the fields, she gets inside the dark hole. Cox thinks of giving up as he's too scared of the hole. But then he remembers the promise he made with the ants. It's time to get over his fears. He enters the hole gradually and looks around to find the spider. She lives inside an old dollhouse, but she's not the only one there. Under the dirty water, a creepy frog is residing too. Cox sneaks into the dollhouse and tries to steal a matchstick. Before he can, the frog peeks from the window and uses his tongue to grab Cox. The poor ladybird keeps whining and struggling, but the frog doesn't let him go. The spider can see the unfortunate scene, but she's too small to fight the giant frog. Cox holds onto the floor tightly and makes the dollhouse start to tilt. The house loses its balance and falls on the frog. Cox is left unconscious as he has consumed all of his energy. He dreams about his family again, but this time he sees them drifting away. Cox wakes up from the sad dream and finds himself on a soft bed. The spider is standing in front of him playing some music. Cox gets up and reaches the matchbox. He retells the whole story and explains that he can't pick up the matchbox. The spider takes out some of the matchsticks that make the box lighter in weight. Cox can finally carry it by himself. He gets out of the hole and flies toward the ants' territory. On the way, he finds the naughty bees bullying a female ladybird. She tries to ignore them, but they keep teasing her. Cox can't stand it anymore and decides to teach the bees a good lesson. He puts down the matchbox and mocks at the bees. The bees get furious and run after Cox. The clever ladybird has a complete plan in his mind. He makes the bees follow him all the way to the road. Then he waits for a vehicle to pass by. Cox takes a sharp turn to avoid hitting the car, but the bees knock on the car's headlights and die on the spot. Cox gets back to the female ladybird and receives a kiss for his bravery. However, he can't stay there anymore as he still has an unfinished task. Cox picks up the matchbox again and flies toward the ants' territory. Almost half of the castle has already been demolished by the cruel red ants. While the black ants have lost all hope, suddenly they hear a familiar sound. It's Cox. He flies there announcing his arrival and delivers the matchbox to the ants. The ants pick up the matchsticks and launch the rockets. They fly in the sky to create beautiful fireworks and then fall on the red ants. Fire spreads everywhere and the red ants run here and there to save their lives, while the black ants hide inside their castle. Fortunately, the Forest Regulation Authority notices the smoke and rushes there to extinguish the fire. It's been a few weeks since the incident. Cox has started his own family with the female ladybird he met. He's teaching his children how to be fearless and expert warriors like him. The black ants are rebuilding their castle too, but they will never forget the hero who saved their lives. A hero is not always the one with the strongest body, but the one who has the courageous mind to overcome his fear and a kind heart to sacrifice for others.